So if you go to Richie, the magpie with the top hat to the Grand Exchange, if you give him 100 mil, that is going to be a 400 point task. So here we go, 100 mil and that 400 pointer master task coming through. So we've unlocked Richie as a pet as well, which is also nice. The 400 mil for a big boy task done. So 140 points now off tier 7. And tier 7 is not just the relic we're excited about, it's also the multiplier for the XP. The XP will then officially go to, I think, 16 times, which will really rack up. Yeah, I know we've been doing a lot of skilling lately, so that will also help rattle up the total level. And then the PVMing as well will also be nice with the perks. So the big decision for tier 7 is obviously the God Book or the prayers. And I think now I've slightly changed after seeing a couple of people use the prayer one. Really, what I'm trying to use leaks for is to get a sort of understanding of mechanics and how a boss reacts to certain things. And with the book, I'm not really going to experience that because the book's just going to sort of truck in with damage and just do all the work. When really, I want to be understanding mechanics and why the bosses are doing certain things. The ability to have that prayer effect where the prayer is a bit more protective. You've got Soul Split as well, so you can work through the mechanics and understand mechanics, I think is more important than actually having that damage. Not only that as well, I could also go and get a book as well for some damage, whether that's God Book, Wen Book, Jazz Book. But the fact I can use the Everlasting Prayer just means I've got some HP coming back while also praying. So I think that's where I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go for that just because it's going to be what I've been looking for more, where it's going to give me a chance to understand the game. And to be fair with leagues, once I've got tier 7, I'm only going to sort of do what I want anyway. The quests have kind of like really put a halt to a lot of the enjoyment from the sort of late game because so many tasks and stuff are halted by quests. And I don't really want to do quests on sort of like a temporary mode. If I'm going to do quests, I may as well go and do it on 7-Day Bond, where we're looking to max and Concape and do that series, rather than just on a mode where in 8 weeks this mode won't be here. So I don't know. But I think Everlasting Prayer is going to be the best one long term for me to understand bosses and understand what bosses do. Now, you may be asking what we're doing for points, and once we've got 90 woodcutting, which I don't know where we've got all these woodcutting levels from. Obviously, the Evil Bloodwood tree does come in clutch with a lot of levels, but I didn't expect to get 90 woodcutting so quick. But what this will give us access to is this Elder Tree. So the Elder Trees have a couple of things to aim for. So you've got a task to do it in sort of Elfland. You've got one to do like 10 Elder Logs. You've also got one to burn Elder Logs, which I'm really happy that segregation, or the way we turn like the eggs into sharp shell shards, is not linked to extinction, because basically what's that meant now is that any logs I get, whether it's PVM drops, thieving, or I woodcut my own, don't have to be used for fire making. I can use those sharp shell shards, which are incredible XP. I've got like 99 fire making banked just in shards, but it means I can save it for construction. Construction was starting to get to a point where it's becoming a bit of a worry, because I don't want to do old style construction because that's not fun for anyone. But because I can save logs now for construction, it means that any ones I get will be used for Fort for Infantry and saved for that as well. But Elder Logs is very nice. It means we can have access again to the highest tier for Fort for Infantry and get it upgraded once we have the construction level. But yeah. Hopefully, if we can get these nice and quick, we should be able to rattle off the last two tasks very, very quick. We could also do some anti-fire potions at the bank. So once we've got what we needed in terms of the next 80-point task, we'll go to war, make those potions, and then that's going to wrap up tier 7. But I'll come back when we've got this Elder Log one, and then I'll sort of finish the video and round it off, because I think it'd be a nice place to sort of finish when we actually get tier 7. And then we can start the next video when we sort of got tier 7 and life after tier 7. Because I still think like how tier 6 started, we got tier 6 after massive grinds get points. And then points came so easy because we had higher levels and stuff like that, because you got better XP. And I think it's going to be very similar when we get tier 7. Tier 7 is just going to breed more and more points because we've got the ability to do things like easier, higher level PVM and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know how much we're going to continue after tier 7, because I think this is kind of it. It might just be a video every now and then, and we'll go back more to RS3 and normal mode. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm just going to finish these Elder Logs, and then we'll go and make some potions at the Grand Exchange, and then we'll unlock our final relic. So after all that, it turns out I had actually over 100 Lantern Dimes in the bank, and I can clean all that for a 200-point task instead. So that is how we're going to finish our journey to tier 7. And yeah, like I say, really enjoyed it, really been fun. And after tier 7, we're still going to do some things just to try and enjoy the game. We're going to try PVM, we're going to try and like get max. I think getting max means you can get something like the adamant, maybe the rune trophy, and then I'll see how I feel after that as well. I don't think there'll be the level of videos relating to leagues which they have been. Probably not daily. We'll do other videos in terms of the main game for like sort of daily videos, and then I'll do like 2 or 3 a week. Just to update guys on my league's progress, because I'll be taking it a lot more laid back now I've got the tier 7. Because the tier 7 basically means I've got the best XP. I've got, in my eyes, the perks I want to have. Did I make some wrong choices? Probably. I think we'll do that once leagues towards the end. We'll do a bit of a sort of run through of how my leagues was, what I would have changed, and what I would change for the next time we do it. Because I really hope that the success this league has been that they do another version a little later on. Maybe to do it yearly, maybe to do it every 6 months. Who knows? But I do sort of hope there'll be another version of this because leagues was fun. To play the game mode at such an accelerated rate really is enjoying. You are engaged by it as well. And there we go, 80 points for that. And then if I just quickly make 14 anti-fires, which we do thanks to the thieving method, have those available now. So if I just grab some lanternimes, it was such a success that I think that it should be done again. And then hopefully on the next one, we sort of refine what we can have unlocked. I think if the game mode didn't have all the quests to do, a lot more people would have stuck around. You've already seen like the numbers starting to dip off a bit, because I think people just don't want to spend the time to do the quests. But that's for another video, that's for another time. We're just going to finish off the Tier 7 Relic, and then we'll wrap the video up. But just while we've got a little bit more time, thank you all for all your support. Thank you for all the likes and all the views on this series. We are going to still keep going. I'll still keep extending the playlist. But for the main part, like I said, we won't be doing as many of the videos as we have been lately. But the video will be coming in the form of the main game, where it's moneymakers, guides, and if there's anything you want me to do, make sure to drop in the comments, and I'll always try and do what you guys want to see, just to make sure I can help you guys any way possible. So anything you're struggling with, anything you want to see, make sure just to throw them in them comments below. And here we go, 80 points for the 15 anti-fires, but more importantly, that is the new relic available. So if we open the interface, we scroll over all the way to tier 7. We now have our choice between Ascension, Specialist, and Everlasting Faith. Now, Specialist, I'm not really interested in, but this is the big one where we have the Grimoire, we have the Elder God Book, and all the God Books basically working on the same level. Or we have Everlasting Faith, where prayer points no longer drain, so prayer is not an option. Protection prayers and deflect curses block plus 50 damage, so they're pretty much fully protecting. And then protection prayers and deflect curses act as soul split being active as well. So yeah, this is the one to learn, and this is the one to have fun. I think with the book is very, very good. The book will give you extra damage, but I think that damage isn't realistic to the kind of gameplay I'll be having. Whereas at least with Everlasting Faith, the prayers I'm having to do and also the soul split is very similar to like having to do it and vamp. So I don't know. It really is a tough decision between the book and the Everlasting Faith. Let me know what you think you're going to go for, and let me know what you're going for in the comments below. So I'm going to go for Everlasting Faith. I've made the decision. It's going to be Impulse. We're going to go Everlasting Faith. I think it's just going to be better for what we need it to be in terms of learning. Also, the heals will be very, very nice. Again, if I'd went melee build, I think that with the melee build, because you've already got the lifesteal as well, it's such an easier choice to go for Ascension. But I think I'm going to go Everlasting Faith. Is that going to sort of ruin my end game? We shall soon find out. But I've got what I wanted. I've got to the tier 7. The tier 7 as well gives us the best sort of drop rate as well. So all these like drops in RNG related goals, hopefully with the sort of drop rate we've got now, which is being better, we'll be a lot more comfortable with that. But our final relic choices are Excavator, Farming Frenzy, Assassin's Insight, Clue Connoisseur, the Soulborn, Perfection, and then finally Everlasting Faith. 16 times XP, so we should absolutely fly through what's left of the Maxcape. And then I'm going to gear up and we'll do some PVM. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys very soon for the next one.